Hey there, my name is Pravus. Welcome back to more Oxygen Not Included in the Super Duper Grouper base. I know, I'm sorry, it's been a while. Unfortunately, I have another series that y'all may be familiar with that is competing for a lot of my time, but the good news is that is wrapping up soon, so we need to start wrapping up this series as well. Now, in the last video, we went exploring in space, and it was great. We discovered all sorts of wonderful science. And with that science, very soon I shall try to unlock an even bigger, better hydrocarbon propulsion system, which will allow us to travel a heck of a lot further. I'm loving the idea behind this. We just need a lot more of this orbital data collection taken care of. We got so many discs, though, from Alpha's hard work that I think that's going to be fine. More likely than not, the thing that's going to slow me down is probably going to be the radiation collection over here at the Materials Study Terminal. If I really wanted to, I could probably optimize this and start generating a lot of extra radiation. It wouldn't even really be a bad idea. But it also would take a lot of time, and we all know that I'm fairly lazy. So, we're going to let that kind of run its course. In the meantime, though, there are other things I'd like to do with these rockets. In order to end out this series, I'd like to at least discover another planetoid the old-fashioned way without having to rely on a very lucky teleporter between these two planetoids. So I'm going to try to find something out over here. That means we need to get some space telescopes and start going a lot further away. I'd also like to properly explore said planet with some form of a rover. And if we can at least get a dupe set up there, then I'll feel pretty good about my situation and we'll be happy to end the series. Now, to be fair, I'm very much aware that that is not exactly the end of Oxygen Not Included. I'm still only kind of scraping the tip of the iceberg when it comes to this game. There is so much you can do because each of these planetoids might have different fauna and different resources available, which open up new production chains, which do blah, 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 blah. Like, there's a lot that you can do. I'm very much aware of that, but I also know that this series can't go on forever. So that's why I'm trying to wrap some stuff up. I'm setting some nice, easy, achievable goals. Well, I say easy. They're not exactly easy, but they're achievable. And from there, we can at least say we did a good job. Here's Alpha working with the data discs, by the way, since I failed to capture that in the last video. Kind of a fun little VR planetarium experience, I guess. I'm not sure exactly what scientific information you can derive from that, but I've wondered that about pretty much everything in Oxygen Not Included, so I guess, you know, just par for the course. So while we're working on all of that, is there anything that I can change with this? Well, first off, there's the office mug. I never actually found out what you do with this. Give me 1 second, I'm gonna look this up. Apparently, it is something I can place on a pedestal as a form of decor. Okay, fine. There's gotta be a way to place down a pedestal. Would that be considered furniture? Could be. There's a pedestal! Alright, so this would allow us to increase some decor quite a bit. You know what? I feel like the water cooler has run its course at this point. It's not really necessary. We can just get rid of this sucker and stop filling it with water. And we'll place some pedestals in over here so that while you're eating your little berry sludge, you think about the grandeur of our experience in space. Of course, before I can place anything on a pedestal, I also need to clean the mug off. So we have an artifact station of some sort. Do I want to place it down over this direction? I guess up over here is fine for now. I just want to use some proper conductive cables. So I guess it's supposed to be covered in like neutronium or something off the bat. Yeah, you can kind of see actually here it is encased in neutronium. So we've got to clean it off. It's interesting that these little artifacts, these little brushes and stuff are able to remove neutronium because there's no other way to remove it from anything else in the game. But a little bit gooped up all over an office mug? Yeah, just brush it a little bit. It'll come right off. It says we don't have an artifact of interest. But I do. I do have an artifact of interest. It's right here. This is the artifact. It's very interesting. Let's, remove it. It drops. Boom. Okay. And now we go down over here, and someone should be able to work on it. I thought I actually did that in the last video. I must have forgotten to, like, save or something. Oops. What else did I forget? That would be a disaster. Hopefully nothing too embarrassing. Yes, clean it away. Clean off that disgusting neutronium stuff. Why is it even encased in neutronium in the first place? What is neutronium even made of, and how did it encase this thing? It's not like we discovered a fossil or anything. Neutronium's like the hardest substance on Earth. Doesn't make much sense. Anyway, when you finish these things, there's a chance... Looks like we did not get lucky with that. There is a chance that it's going to drop something called a vacillator recharge. You remember the giant brain thing? Wherever that went. There it is. These things. The neural vacillator. Yeah, once in a while when you find a space artifact, you can actually toss a recharge in here and do it all over again, which is awesome. But the mug, as my understanding has it, does not have a very high chance of dropping that off. Still, at least we get an awesome mug. There. See? It looks so decorous. Actually, if we take a look at the decor value, bada boom, there we go. Oh yeah, we're getting a fair bit out of here. Yeah, the decor value is at 120. That is the absolute maximum in this area. It's hard to say. It looks like I'm getting 36 out of the pedestals. 120 for masterpieces, artwork, and such, carpeted tile, blah, blah, blah. Okay, this doesn't actually get me a whole lot of value beyond what I already had, apparently. But it looks cool! Anyway, now that we've got that artifact out of here, we should probably consider getting rid of the module itself. So let's go ahead and pull that sucker off of here. And if we've got enough space to put on a telescope, I don't see any reason not to just go ahead and launch the Intrepid back up into space right about now. Apparently this thing has a height of 5, and I don't have quite enough. Oh, that's unfortunate because there's not a lot else I can change here, unless I could have, like, a smaller liquid tank. I don't know how we're supposed to get enough space for this thing to work. We could theoretically remove the battery. That feels vaguely unwise, but we got a solar power module. And you know what? There's always, like, you know, cosmic light rays in space, right? Cosmic light rays, what the heck am I talking about? Pull this sucker off, toss on a telescope, let's launch it. What could possibly go wrong? And there it is, in all of its glory. Now, one problem with my plan to go all the way out over here is we can only make 10 tiles of a trip right now. That's as furthest we're able to go with the amount of oxidizer I've currently got set up. So we can go out, like, let's say over here, conduct some surveillance, and then head back, but that's about it. Otherwise, we're going to be stuck in space. This is a small solid oxidizer tank. That's part of the problem, but I don't have enough space in this thing to place a larger one until we get a bigger rocket anyway. So I think this is just going to have to do, and here's hoping that we do find something out there that makes it worth the trip. Boom! All right. We are leaving the planet once again to conduct some exploration. Well, nothing to do but wait, basically. Another couple of cycles or so, we should be able to get over here. Now, I don't know how you actually use the telescope module. Either we'll do it automatically when we arrive, or I'm gonna have to do something else here. Abandon ship, no, not that. Yeah, there's gotta be a way. We'll figure it out when we get there. Probably should have read the manual first, let's be honest. I suppose while we're waiting, there's not much of any reason not to just do some extra research, right? We could do that. Let's just go ahead and deconstruct this thing and start doing a little bit of extra science, get some extra data banks. I don't really need them because I don't really plan on researching much beyond the large rocket, but I don't know, it just kind of feels like if you're here and you're bored and got nothing better to do, maybe do some science. How are some other systems working? I haven't had a look at some of these for a bit. We should still be doing pretty well with our water system over here. Everything is getting cooled down here. The Sleet Wheat Farm's looking good. Are we overheating or overcooling? Nope, we're at a pretty consistent 3.5 degrees over here. Yeah, honestly. When I build things, I try to build them to last so I can not pay attention to them for the rest of the game if I can. High stress. Who's stressed out? Alpha, why are you stressed out? Oh, little Alpha, why are you stressed? I actually have no idea why she's stressed out. Tickle Tootsies is going to help a lot, so I guess just having you do the science will help burn off some of it. Low morale? Why is your morale low? Oh no. Something has happened that is making Alpha's happiness very low compared to her skill level. Oh yeah, that's gonna do it. That's gonna do it real bad. Right. I kind of wish that I had forced you to unlearn a few skills before you left. Why did we not have this problem last time, though? Because I feel like you ought to be fairly happy. You're in a pretty good spot, to be honest. You got everything you need. You're in space, and I know in real life that makes you extremely happy. What's the last thing you ate? I don't know. The Tickle Tootsies is going to reduce this at least a little bit, but I really wish I had a better way of getting the morale up right now. This is pretty bad. Well, I could try to give Alpha a little bit of extra downtime periodically, and maybe the little bit of extra is going to make her feel a little bit happier. I don't remember how much downtime actually boosts you up. I think you get a slight morale bonus for that, though. Could be wrong. Think that's true. Let me double check. Morale, 16 still. 2-shift break. Duplicant, blah, blah, blah. No, it doesn't seem to have made much of a difference. Yeah, this is going to be a problem. This is actually going to be a really big problem in a bit. Okay. Hopefully, Alpha does not snap and break the rocket, because if she does, she's dead. This exact reason, by the way, is one of the reasons it's always good to be having somebody who's, like, starstruck, so they have the extra morale simply by being in space. You can avoid a lot of these morale issues, but I have not been lucky on that front. How we doing there, Alpha? Oh, well, now your morale's way up. Okay, apparently the decor wasn't good enough until it had to register in your little noggin. Got it. All right, problem solved. She'll be fine. Oh, I just realized one of the reasons we're having some morale issues. This pedestal can't be here. We needed things like a water cooler in order to turn this into a proper mess hall, and it's not right now. Oh, okay. That is unfortunate, but all right. Sort of kind of makes sense. Wait, no, it doesn't. Recreational building. Then why is this one fine? It's because this one's a regular mess hall. What we wanted was a great hall. We'll move the pedestal elsewhere. Okay, we've arrived at another area. Rocky asteroid. Well, that's not gonna be good enough. So, that's it. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be able to search anything of interest nearby. I guess that's all we can do at the moment. Let's head back. 5 tiles, huh? So, here's a kind of small problem. I'm not confident we have enough oxalite. We've already gone through more than half of it, and we're now about halfway through our journey. So the faster we can get back home, the better, for sure. She'll probably be okay, but only barely. This is, yeah, this is not good enough. We really need to have a larger rocket before I can go much further than this. You know, I always wondered what to do with that honey jar that was sitting on this pedestal up here. Turns out we just had to clean off the neutronium, and now we get our own little pedestal honey over here. And, by analyzing, we actually got a vacillator recharge, this little thing right over here. So that's what I was talking about before. If we want to hook that thing up into a brain, like let's say this thing, we could recharge it, and then someone else can get whatever skill we had here. Although, I don't remember what we actually got last time. Was it Foxytrot? Who got this thing? What did you get? I think she got the Deep Diver's Lungs. Is that the one? So reduced air consumption rate, which is actually pretty nice. That's a very, very good trait to have on a lot of different people. I don't know. Assuming it gives the same traits, which is an assumption, because I actually don't know if that's true, we would be able to go ahead and get ourselves some extra consumption reduction, and I think that's worthwhile. And how is Alpha doing in the rocket? Not bad. We actually, I think, speed up by using the rocket control station, so we've got just enough oxalite left that I'm pretty sure we'll be okay. Who's scalding? Alpha scalding? What? Alpha! Oh, frick! We landed immediately. Okay, and she just ran out here without her suit. Gosh dang, I thought we had at least a second longer. Alright, why don't you go back home? That was stupid of you. You left your suit inside. But, okay, fine. You're alive. That's what matters. Now, here's a thought. So, Nisbet over here doesn't exactly have the trait that I was looking for, but the increased decor morale bonus alone is pretty helpful. So we would get extra morale from lower decor values. It's effectively the same thing. The bottomless stomach trait is awful, but we have plenty of food. And this character is a really good pilot. The extra 18% speed is helpful. You know what? Welcome aboard, Lex. We're bringing you on. Now, don't get too excited, Lex. You're gonna have to earn that space helmet you've got there. There's pretty much nothing else for you to do, except for pilot things. But we'll have 2 rockets soon, and I'm gonna be happy to have you on the team. We're gonna have to start figuring out some ways of getting a bit of extra water at some point. I really need to start taming these geysers somehow. Because we don't have an absolute ton of water over here. Harvesting ice is only gonna work for so much longer. And we at least have methods of cooling stuff down pretty quickly. If I want to, I don't know, I might just toss things to a thermal aqua tuner or 2. All the steam turbines are right here. It's just a matter of actually hooking this stuff up and then figuring out how we want to sort out the water so it's a proper closed loop. But if we can do that, that's going to solve one of those problems. I don't know. That might be something I kind of figure out off camera, though, because to be honest, it's just going to use principles you've already seen before. And my kind of philosophy going into a lot of this game is to try not to be too repetitive in a lot of the base mechanics. Show new ways of applying them, sure, absolutely, but like once you've already got an idea how it works, why go through it again, you know what I mean? How are we doing on things like the gold volcanoes and stuff, by the way? This one is overpressured. Really? It's overpressured. Really? Huh. I'm gonna have to find a way to get in here and actually relieve a little bit of steam. It seems I put too much water into this system, and the result is this gold volcano is unable to actually send me any raw material. Oh, whoops, we made a miscalculation somewhere, but here's a whole load more refined gold. Yeah, that's all working out fantastically. Yeah, for the most part, things are looking good in the base. It's little things, like not producing enough coal or power, still. Even with extra solar panels, it's never gonna be enough power, apparently. Getting the water figured out. Basics. Basic stuff you've all seen before. Very soon, by the way, I'm just kind of waffling on because we only just now, finished off the hydrocarbon propulsion, which means over here we can start building out a new rocket. Thank you. All right, so a true petroleum engine. That's what we're looking for here. It has to be built out of steel? Oh, man, that's expensive, but okay. It's huge. How much bigger is it than the other option? It's only 1 height difference. Okay, but it should be able to handle a fair bit more burden. This one has a burden of 11, this is a burden of 12. No, that's the actual burden of the rocket itself. Does it say 35? Wow, we can get 15 more height on this particular rocket. Yeah, this little thing right here ain't gonna cut it. We're gonna have to remove a bunch of this stuff, I think. Well, what kind of modules can I put on here then? I mean, we've got things like the orbital cargo and stuff. Sure, that's all stuff. We probably want to get a large oxidizer tank, not a small one, because that was what our limiting factor was last time, so we would put one of those on there. We'd also need to get a big liquid container so that we have enough fuel, so a large one of those. Whoops. All right, looks like we actually just finished building a couple of these. Oh yeah, that's the scaffold. Whoa, dude. Whoa, this is a big rocket. It's a big honkin' rocket. We could do something kind of like this, I guess. So what this does is it basically gives me a lot more storage to go further than our current small little rocket. We'll have the same cartographer module. We're gonna have a battery. It's unreachable because it's too small. We'll move a little ladder right there, and that'll solve the problem. And we'll have the cartographer module, and then instead of a solo spacefarer nose cone, we would have a spacefarer module. Even if I only have one person, this would give me so much more space for storage, decor, and other purposes that it's just going to be a better long-term trip. And then we would just have a very basic nose cone up top so that we're at least somewhat aerodynamic. This looks, honestly, kind of like a really bad Jenga tower because these batteries just aren't large enough to quite match up with this. Was there any larger battery options that look more appropriate? Anything here? No, not seeing it. No. All right, fine. You know, we could even toss on an artifact module just for good measure. Because you never know, maybe as we explore, we find something cool. That could be fun. Anyway, we'll go ahead and toss that on over there. That moves everything else up like so. And we would still have 5 extra space to work with. You know what? If that's the case, what do we need next? It would be a trailblazer module. Yeah, that thing right there. Or a rover? No, hang on. Enables travel? No, we would want to have a rover module. That's what I want. A rover module would mean if we do discover a new planetoid, we'd be able to drop off a little automated robot which is gonna look around for us. You know, kind of like they do with the real space programs. It's not a real space program unless you have a proper module. I'm gonna toss this down a little bit so it looks a little less stupid. There we go, that's a little bit better. It's not much better, but it's a little bit better. By the way, you guys remember how I was having issues with some of these automation cables before kind of getting destroyed? It's because I was building them out of a cheap material and the rocket's heat was destroying them. Build them out of steel? No problem. Now we actually can turn on and off these automation doors and not wait around so much. Way better. We could also consider hooking one of these up to something. A space scanner comes to mind. You hook up something like this, and what it does is it looks for any signs of asteroids. If there are asteroids incoming that could destroy my rocket, it'll send a signal and it'll quickly close these things before it gets me killed. That's a bit of a risk, though, and it's not a guarantee, because it doesn't always give you enough time. Sometimes you need to have a lot of space scanners. The more you have, the more visibility and the more warning you're going to have. I don't know, we'll kind of play that one by ear, hopefully not with disastrous consequences. Got some very dramatic music all of a sudden. What the crud? I think it's because my duplicants technically walked beyond the surface over here, and it's like, you've walked into space! Which I've already done, like, for a while now. Not this space on the map, but, like, launching into space. But sure, if you want to give me really inspiring, dramatic music to make me feel good about myself, okay, I'm not opposed, that sounds good. Meteors are definitely a concern for me right now. One thing you can do to try to get around that, I think, is to build, like, some bunker tiles. Yeah, there they are. These things are extremely hardy. Pretty much the only way to guarantee that they'll survive against a meteor impact. But they take 100 steel each. That's not cheap. That's really, really, really expensive. So you'll forgive me if I'm not enthused about building a bunch of those, but depending on if something really bad happens, we might very well find out that's kind of a necessity, and I'm going to feel like a big dum-dum for not doing it sooner. Is there any other research I want to do that would be helpful to me right about now? I mean, the drill cone is tempting. The high-velocity transport could be kind of useful. We've got databanks for days. That's not an issue. It's the rad bolts, man. The rad bolts are the real problem here. Bioengineering wouldn't be bad either. You got the botanical analyzer. That's how you say that. It identifies new seed subspecies. If we find any of those... Yeah, I don't know. That might be something we find out in space. We could certainly pick that sucker up. Maybe also the high-velocity transports will be able to launch things to other planetoids without having to do rockets all the time. And then an Orion engine radbolt propulsion. Yeah, I'll pass on that one. Sounds kind of fun, though, doesn't it? So let's take a look at the Seafarer module, and we can see what's different in here. Oh my, so much more room to work with, huh? There's a lot of really efficient designs out there for these things, for sure. I probably should, like, take advantage of some of those, right? Yeah. We should probably look up some guides and build some really good stuff here. I don't know. I do know we should rename the rocket. Adeos 2? Not good enough. We're gonna call this one the Resolution. Yes, this is, in fact, the Resolution. You know something I just realized? We don't need this cartographic module over here. This is completely unnecessary. You know why? Because in the Spacefarer module, which by the way is the same size as a cartographic module, so if you can afford to have this thing, you can probably afford to have this thing, and we should have done that from the beginning, but that's beside the point. Let's take a look at the interior here. There's some nice big windows over this direction. So if, for example, I wanted to set up something, we'll do like little carpeted tiles because we like the tickled tootsies. That'll be nice. And I'll go for stations, was it? Where's the telescope? I need it. Hang on, where is it? There it is, telescope. And set this right here. Oh, yes, what do you know? It actually has a little bit of space to look outside of the window. Not a lot, mind you, so it's not gonna be the most efficient method of actually looking outside and cartographing the area around it anyway, but at least it saves me some rocket space. And it gives people something to do, which would be kind of nice. I don't know, I think this could be very sensible. I also think instead of using these very efficient ladder beds, we could afford to go for a comfy bed. We got plenty of plastic sitting around anyway. This guarantees that people are gonna have a lot more morale here because they have a nice, comfortable, rounded bed to sleep in. Gosh, you're gonna be treated better in space than you're gonna be on the ground. What is this thing? I'm building a luxury hotel? I think what I'm gonna go for here are some actual dedicated rooms by making use of pneumatic doors. So the thought is I might be able to turn this into a sort of great hall by having a mess table plus a small recreational item like the party line phone. And we'll fit the telescope in here plus some decorations. A bedroom with some decorations plus a washroom or a bathroom. And I think that's going to give some pretty massive morale bonuses as well. So even without the Stargazer or Starry-Eyed trait, whatever it's called, we're going to have some really, really happy people. Okay, so we've got the interior of our rocket looking pretty darn good, I think. It's not matching all the other blueprints, but I like the way that it's turned out. A couple little tweaks that I'm making include an atmosuit checkpoint so that no one ever leaves into the exhaust fumes again. That was a thing I'd like to avoid. We do have separate rooms, so I've got a washroom, a bedroom, and a great hall. It seems to have worked exactly as intended, and the decor bonus is going to end up looking really, really good. So as long as we get this supplied with everything we're used to, the oxalite and whatever else, we're going to be fine. However, I do need to set a lot more oxygen through here, because all of it got sucked up into the atmosuit dock, and I didn't really plan on that one. So the thing that I'm really confused about, though, is actually the oxidizer tank. It says that it's an unreachable storage, which is weird, because I don't know where exactly I need to input it. I'm guessing probably in the immediate center, but that's not possible to reach. So, what does one do? I mean, this is one of those situations where you need, like, a gantry or something. Problem is I don't really know how you build these. Maybe I can find a way to place it along here or something, and they can just walk across and drop it off. It's the only thing I can think to try. Let's do it. Here we go. Can actually get a gantry to go directly across. That has to be the solution. It can't be placed with drywall. So that's something I'm learning here. So with this taken care of, we've got our fluids, we've got our air. We have plenty of oxalite, we have materials. All we have to do now is go to a destination and start staring out the window. Pretty sure. So, guess what? Alpha, once again, you are going to be our pilot. I would bring Lex along, but unfortunately, Lex has not yet got a third skill point, which means no astronomy, which means no telescope, which means you're not going to be able to do what I want you to do. So Alpha is, once again, the only choice to go into space. I'm going to try going for this one over here. If this is rocky asteroids, I have a hard time believing there's a gravitational field right here, so let's try going this direction next, see if that gets us anywhere. And I'm pretty sure that's a full checklist. We just need to get our pilot on board. Alrighty then, begin the launch sequence! I'm a little disappointed we can't go further, though. I think the limitation here really is just that I need more fuel. What I might have to do in the future is literally just add on a second large fuel tank. We could have done that now, but I think this might be enough to at least go to that one destination and find out what's over there. By the way, just gonna say it real quick here. Lex, you don't want to be standing in front of the rocket when Alpha launches. She's coming around. I'm just saying the timing of this looks suspicious. Lex? Okay, maybe take a little breather. Go down this way real quick. Bless your heart. That ain't gonna work for us. No, Lex. No. Lex. Get back down here, please. Wait until the rocket now you can go. All right? Now it's fine. All right. So we're back in space, and Alpha is already looking outside of a telescope. Seems a little pointless to me because we already know everything in this area, so tell you what, just to make sure that this is not wasted time, go ahead and disable this. Get back into the whole piloting thing, because I'm pretty sure this is supposed to help you move just a smidge faster. I could be wrong on that. I could be totally wrong on that, but I might be right also. So we're just going to let her do that thing, and then we're going to get out in this general direction. We'll pause here for a second, and we're just going to stare out the telescope. Really wouldn't mind finding a planetoid early on. Honestly, it's not a bad time to be ending up this series. I know that's something that people don't want to hear. And I already kind of talked about that just a little bit, but the reality is this series has taken a very long time to play, and I've had fun with it for what it is, and I'm very glad that we're going into space. But at the same time, you know, there's a lot of other things that I need to be doing right about now. Just saying. I mean, I don't know if you guys saw my announcement video. If you guys did not, I'd recommend you go and take a look. It was kind of a big deal. It's only a few minutes, but maybe see it and you'll understand a little bit more. But yeah, it's probably about time that we start ending things. It's all a matter of landing a rover on another planet. If I can at least do that, I'll feel pretty good about our situation. All right, Alpha, let's start looking through the window. Be wary of the radiation you'll be picking up, but hopefully, with enough poop breaks, you'll be fine. Why do I keep seeing spess like that, by the way? I don't know. I said it a few times in the last video. It becomes it's a planetoid! And Alpha seemed to really enjoy it in the Discord, so there you go. Freudiol! Okay, hang on. We found, looks like an icy planetoid. What is this thing? A small frozen planetoid with sub-zero temperatures. A tundra. Oh man, that's gonna be fun. What kind of traits do we have on this thing? It's got a lush core, frozen apparently, but still. Slime molds have grown all over the place. 10,000 lux. How does that compare with my 40,000? So not nearly as bright, and it does have about twice the radiation we would expect normally. Also, iron volcanoes? Ooh, that sounds pretty helpful. So wait, this actually does mean that we could technically end this series if we wanted to. I just gotta land a rover, which we're gonna do in just a little bit. I just need to get into the gravitational pull of Freudiol. Yeah, okay, guys. I think that settles it. This is gonna be the end of the series. But man, we're gonna end it with a bang. We're gonna be proper space explorers. It's glorious. So this is the surface of the planet. Ooh. There appears to be some actual structures over here, including some metal plates or tiles. Interesting. Where do we think we can land here safely? So there's neutronium. This appears to be a very small planetoid compared to what we've got, so it's not like there's an absolute ton to research here. Let's just try landing here. It's a nice, safe location. At least I think it is. We'll place that there. So it should be deploying now. There it is. Boom! Okay. And out comes a little rover. Hi, rover! A curious bot that can remotely explore new planetoid locations. Cool! What do I do with you? I can apparently use this thing to move around for very simple commands, like this one right here. So as long as you're still able to hop down, I can't actually tell you to move anywhere in particular, that's unfortunate. We do have a chemical battery that's not going to last forever, so this is a very temporary effort. Can we submit a bioscan here? It would make sense if we can't. It's a rover. His eyes got all real wide. He's like, I can't touch that. That would violate the Prime Directive. No, you can't make me do it. Yeah, we're getting a pretty good look at it, though. It's definitely just a giant mishmash of a load of ice. I don't even see any signs of anything really exciting over here. There is apparently an iron volcano. I don't know why this keeps coming up over here, by the way. Oh, local colony lacks field research. Yeah, you can see it, actually. You can click on it. There's an iron volcano visible right here. Well, I imagine that's gonna melt the entire ice biome, but that's fine. Who's worried about it? It's fine. Well, regardless, we've managed to do quite a lot today and in this series overall. We are still hanging around in space, having a really good time up over here. We are exploring the stars. We've discovered planetoids. We even found an ice asteroid field over here. All sorts of cool stuff going on. And if we just wanted to continue, what we would normally do is we would go to our rocket launcher over here, and we can find some modules such as, where is the one I'm thinking of? The Trailblazer module, which would allow us to take some duplicates and drop them off on a new planetoid. But then you'd have to have enough fuel to be able to get back home and blah, blah, blah. It's a bit of an ordeal. It's a bit of an ordeal going to new places. Far easier to just make use of the teleporters that we found a while ago. By the way, we never did take a look at Automano. Let's see what's going on over here. Ah, there we go. All right, so this is the other planetoid that we found a while ago, but I've done absolutely nothing with. Tell you what, before we end this up, let's see if I can send somebody across into another world. Here we go. All right, hop on in. I'm sure absolutely nothing bad is going to happen. Teleport! Whee! Vroom. And, oh, here we are. Okay, so this is a whole nother planetoid game. Please save. Thank you. Okay, whole nother planetoid we haven't messed with. So we already see some radioactive sulfur biomes. We've got a load of weird polluted stuff. Cobalt ore. Ooh. New plant life I've never seen before. Plus some swamp shards. And even a coal generator and some batteries. And a whole bunch of pips. Hi, pips. These guys are great. Super duper helpful. Okay, well, yeah, like I said, we're ending this at a weird time because there are now 2 whole new worlds to explore and exploit in some way or another. Pretty darn cool, not gonna lie, but we are scratching the tip of the iceberg, and I think we're just going to have to accept that this is where things are going to end in the Super Duper Grouper base. Thank you all very much for watching this series of Oxygen Not Included. It wasn't absolutely perfect, but I certainly had a lot of fun with it, especially getting a handful of these machines to work really well. That feels pretty darn good. And it's awesome to see that this game has received so much content. With the Spaced Out DLC since the last time I played, I mean, literally we are scratching the surface. There's just an almost infinite amount of stuff that you can do here. Pretty darn cool. And of course, most importantly, Alpha gets to have her fun times in space. Be sure to hit that like button, leave a comment, subscribe, make sure you hit that notify bell, and I, as always, will see you guys next time.